Everyone, welcome back to another episode of Layton Brothers Mystery Room. We are on the case. We're with our prime, actual, real, for realsy suspect right now, who's being a disgusting old fogey, and we are gonna grill him. We're gonna grill him with the inconsistencies that he saw during the scene. Let's go. When Mr. Dread collapsed during the show, his wig would... It's Lucy talking, sorry.
When Mr. Dread collapsed during the show, his wig was definitely still on his head. That's what the witness told us.
The person in question even went so far as to say as how shocking it was to see the victim without his wig. Yes, of course. I'm terribly sorry. You're quite right. I've mixed things up in my head. Yes, when Dwight actually collapsed, it's true, his wig didn't come off. It must have been when I ran over to him and shook him. I couldn't help myself. I was in a blind panic. That must be when it happened. I must have shaken his wig off his head. That's all. Okay, alright, so when I ran over to Dwight, his wig hadn't fallen off his head. I suppose I shook him so hard his wig fell off then. I was beside myself with worry, you see. I see. I do apologize for getting so muddled up. I quite understand, Mr. de Bonair. People's memories are curious things. Yes, quite. There's just one other thing I'd like to double check with you. Did you notice Mr. Dread drinking his tea at all? Oh, yes, I saw him drink it. Let's see, I'm pretty sure he ate one of those macaroons first. Okay, so another inconsistency that's not lining up here. No doubt that made him thirsty, and it was when he took a big sip of tea that he suddenly looked choked. The rest I think you know. I see. Then it appears we have another discrepancy. You see, we have a statement that tells a different story. Never touch his tea. Boom jams, boom jooms. What do you think of that, mister?
According to Miss Holiday, Mr. Dread never touched his tea. Know what I mean?
That little minx again! Do you really think you can rely on what she tells you? The woman's a serial liar! Why, she even lied to me in order to get me to this meeting, for goodness sake! Or have you conveniently forgotten that little fact already, huh? Not at all. I've made a mental note of it. And surely you wouldn't seriously consider taking our word over mine, huh? I am almighty. That one statement said, I am almighty. Please, Mr. de Bonair, there's no need for raised voices. Perhaps we all need to calm down. A spot of radio, perhaps. Huh? Sorry? Calm down? Don't you tell me to calm down, mister. So we're gonna replay the broadcast? Okay, so she's here. I'm here. I got you something. Wow, thanks. And so fax is coming in, we got a request, and, well, I'm gonna try for one of your things. And then he falls, there's no sound of the glass breaking, he doesn't drink the tea at any point during this broadcast. And then the ad goes. Radio swoon! This is a recording of the show, is this your idea of a joke? Dwight and I worked together for a great many years, you know. Do you think I enjoy listening to my partner, my friend, suffering over and over again? I'm very sorry if this causes you any distress. However, this recording actually proves Miss Holliday's statement is true. I don't understand. Lucy, would you care to explain? What evidence supports that he didn't drink his tea? It was the fact that there was no sound when it shattered, and I think that was it. Huh, the calendar, I guess, is just a red herring? It's so random. It's just so randomly there.
There were a broken teacup at the scene of the crime, but there's not even a hint of the sound of china breaking on the recording of the show!
Well, obviously, the microphone just didn't pick it up. You patient, yeah. Wait, what? You patently know very little about radio. You can clearly make out the sound of the victim collapsing. You would expect the noise of a cup smashing to be even more clearly audible. How is this even relevant? It was the tea girl who poisoned his drink. We all know that. Does it really matter whether you can hear a teacup breaking on the recording or not? I mean, I ask you! It matters a great deal. A cup that didn't break is broken. The wig that didn't fall off is lying on the floor. It's not that one witness or another failed to spot something. No, the crime scene changed subtly between the transmission being interrupted and the police arriving. The question then is why? How on earth What should I know? Don't know, don't care, I'm Bonair. Should be his catchphrase. It encompasses him perfectly. Miss Baker and I have come up with a hypothesis. We speculated that when the victim collapsed during the show, he was in fact pretending to die. Whoa! Oh, don't be absurd, man! I too thought it unbelievable at first, but if you accept that, everything else falls into place. Lucy?
Mr. Dredd and yourself discussed the idea of such a practical joke before the show. You'd probably fixed on him drinking some tea and then starting his whole, oh no, I'm dying bit.
But when it came to the live show, Mr. Dredd improvised a few changes.
Instead of it being the tea that kicked everything off, he went for one of Miss Holliday's macaroons. After the performance, once everyone had left the studio, Mr. Dredd got up.
Miss Holliday and Miss Smith would have been in the waiting room, and Mr. Mann had gone to call the police, which would leave only one other person in the studio. You, Mr. Bonair.
No doubt you made a fuss over Mr. Dredd and how great he'd been, and then you offered him some tea. Tea laced with poison, that is. The poison hit him that bad, he dropped the teacup and smashed on the floor. And as he crashed to the floor himself, his wig flew off his head.
It's these two minor details that were the cause of the inconsistencies of the scene. Though Mr. Dredd collapsed after eating a macaroon, the poison was found in the tea. And though his wig was still on his head after he collapsed during the show, later it was found lying on the floor.
Aye, that's the real truth behind the death of DJ Dwight Dredd, and you know it!
Well, it's certainly imaginative theory, but in the end, it's just that, a theory! You don't have a shred of evidence to support your claim that Dwight faked his own death, do ya? The handkerchief. Surprise! Happy birthday! Surprise! I'm dead. Congrats.
Mr. Dredd's hanky is proof of it.
Good grief, what is that tasteless bit of rag?
We found this hanky with a handwritten note on it.
What does it say? Well, surprised?
With this hanky that Mr. Dredd were planning to show to let everyone know they'd been tricked. That's the only logical explanation for the cryptic message he wrote on it.
It would seem you knew nothing about this handkerchief, yet it was you who proposed the whole idea of the practical joke to the victim in the first place, no?
Rubbish! I don't know anything about it! Must have been that T-girl who tricked Dwight into the idea of a foolish schoolboy prank! She's the one you want! You saw the fax she sent, didn't you? The one with the death threat! Good golly, you even found a perfume bottle full of poison next to it, didn't you?
Huh, perfume bottle. We didn't know what it was.
You chaps had it right the first time. They had already identified that girl as the killer. You wasted my time!
I'm afraid that was a mistake.
Aye, she was dragged into this by you. You asked her to help pull off the so-called practical joke.
Absolutely not! She tricked Dwight, murdered him, and then killed herself. End of story!
She didn't kill herself. We have evidence to prove it. It was the handwriting on the back of her hand. There we go.
Alright, you slipped up just now, didn't ya? Here's our moment. Let's go! Let's clinch it! Woo! Your heart has been broken, revealed, exposed!
Miss Brewer made a very interesting note to herself. Allow me to read it to you. Farad's sale, it says.
Well, arrest me now! What damning evidence indeed!
Good. I see you've understood the significance of this note. It refers to an advert that was aired for the very first time, might I add, straight after the show was interrupted. The note tells us two things. Firstly, Miss Brewer knew from the outset that Mr. Dredd was going to collapse as part of the show.
She were a huge fan of his, so if she really thought he'd collapsed, she'd have never bothered with the ad.
And secondly, she intended to visit Farad's on the way home and have a look at the sale.
She'd hardly have bothered making a note of a sale if she were about to do herself in.
So you see, we can be fairly confident that Miss Brewer had no intention of committing suicide.
Well, that's all very interesting, but let's not forget the woman was a killer. You can't hope to understand how such a person thinks, surely. And if she hadn't killed Dwight, why'd she send that death threat veiled as a song request?
The fax you're referring to was another suggestion of yours, was it not?
I can hear it now, what you'd have said to the poor lass. Dwight wants to stage an amazing practical joke in the show he could really do with your help. You knew she were a huge fan of Mr. Dredd and his show. Of course you were going to agree. She'd have been chuffed that you asked her. I bet she wrote that bogus death threat request gladly, didn't she?
I haven't the first idea what you're talking about.
After the show, you waited for your chance to slip off to the storeroom where Miss Brewer was waiting. Just like you did with Mr. Dredd, you congratulated her on a job well done and offered her a cup of coffee.
Oh, look at how excited she is. Poor baby. Poor baby.
The poor lass had no idea. I bet she were on cloud nine, thinking she'd done something to help her idol. As she sipped the deadly poison.
Oh,
That's the truth of the matter, isn't it, Mr. Bonair?
mystery solved. Oh my goodness. Oh, encore! My goodness, you pair of the most fantastic imaginations. This could be a new radio drama.
How come you're still here? We smashed your alibis one by one. I thought you'd disappear into thin air. That's how it works in video games.
My dear girl, I'm not about to admit to a crime I didn't commit. After all, this whole scenario you've painted is a fabrication.
No, it is not. We backed up everything we said with hard evidence.
No doubt, I suspect, in all likelihood. I've listened patiently to your conjecture for long enough!
Now you listen to me. There's abundant and clear evidence that the T-girl killed herself. To start with, there's the handwritten request sheet. However you look at it, that request was a blatant death threat. It makes her intentions crystal clear. Next, there's the perfume bottle full of poison. The same poison, I hasten to add, that was used to kill Dwight. She was found with that lethal substance in her possession. And if that isn't damning enough, she used the very same poison to kill herself. Finally, there's the fact that the girl was a die-hard fan of Dwight's. Her twisted feelings for the poor man are what led to this tragedy in the first place.
Faced with 3 irrefutable pieces of hard evidence like this, can you honestly suspect anyone else?
Can you refute this evidence in any way, my dear? As I thought.
So that's that then. Case closed.
Hey, you can't do that!
Oh no! Mystery resolved, I guess. Encore! Encore! I demand an encore!
Oh no.
Oh my god, he's back. Hello. Welcome.
Hey?
Hi. I guess you're coming in clutch. What's up, buddy?
When did you... Funny tan again, eh, Prof?
Dear me, you're still here?
This is our office. You're the one who's supposed to get out.
Goodness, Mr. Layton. You seem a little, disturbed?
Get my name wrong again on purpose, and I'll personally cut out your tongue!
That's it, Prof. Suck it to him. I'm gonna cheer him on because I hate this guy. If you're gonna be scary and grill him, I'm honestly all for it. Go for it. Get him. Get him.
Good gracious, I'm not quite sure I can believe my ears. Are you sure you're a police officer? You're making me uncomfortable. I demand you allow me to go home, seeing as you have no evidence.
We have evidence. Let's hear your patronizing 3 irrefutable pieces of hard evidence again, shall we? If you dare.
I don't know why you suddenly assumed this menacing tone.
Just get on with it!
Very well. I'm not sure why I have to repeat myself like this, but firstly, there's the handwritten request sheet. Secondly, the perfume bottle full of poison. And thirdly, the fact that the T-girl was a die-hard fan of Dwight's.
You have no idea, do you? The very words coming out of your mouth.
What?
One of your 3 irrefutable pieces of hard evidence, Mike.
It's just the irrefutable evidence that proves your guilt! Don't be absurd!
Lucy, do you know which one it is?
I think I sort of do, and I sort of don't.
One of de Bonair's 3 irrefutable pieces of hard evidence, and a piece of evidence from the crime scene. By comparing those 2 things, we prove beyond any doubt that Mikey here is the killer. So the perfume, like, we don't know that it's perfume. We don't know that it's a perfume bottle, so the only person that would know is the person who saw it as a whole beforehand. Right? Yeah. We don't know what this is. Yeah, we didn't know what this was. Wiggle those ears, girl! Go for it! Yeah! What do you think of that?
You said the bits of broken glass were from a perfume bottle full of poison, Mr. Debonair.
That's why you slipped up! You betrayed yourself rotten!
I'm sorry? You blurted something out that only the real killer could have known.
Aye, about those bits of broken glass in the storeroom. When I found out that that's what the
What?
When I found out that's what the poison were in, I assumed they'd come from a pill bottle or something. But the real killer weren't carrying the poison in a pill bottle, were he? No, he were using a perfume bottle.
I know exactly how your devious mind was working. You'd always intended to leave the bottle of poison in Brewer's hand, to make it look like suicide. That's why you very carefully chose a lady's perfume bottle.
I don't know what you're talking about.
After you'd poisoned Brewer, you placed the perfume bottle in her hand and left the storeroom. But then, something happened that you hadn't banked on. The girl wasn't quite dead. I very much doubt she understood exactly what was happening, but she must have felt she needed to leave a sign, something to show how she was killed. Mustering all her remaining strength, she hurled the perfume bottle against the wall. It smashed into pieces, making it all but impossible to identify what it was. But of course, you didn't know that. That's really smart of her, because, like, this line of thinking is so... It takes so much thought, like, that she came up with it as she was delirious. Like, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. All right. Props, man.
There's no way anyone could tell what sort of container those bits of glass made before they smashed.
Even forensics are still hard at work piecing them all back together.
Only one person could possibly know what shape it were originally. And that's the one who put the poison in it in the first place! The killer!
Oh, dear me! What a silly mistake! It seems I must have said the wrong thing!
You said the wrong thing. You repeated it no less than 3 times, and yet you'd like to claim you said the wrong thing.
Then you heard me wrong! That's right! I never said any such thing!
Oh, know when to give up for pity's sake!
If that's how you want to play it, let's listen to something.
Huh? What? Did he get recorded like just now? She's the one you want! You saw the fax she sent, didn't you? The one with the death threat? Wait, okay. Good golly, you even found a perfume bottle full of poison next door, didn't you? He recorded it? Why did... Okay.
That was the first time.
But how did you...
I played you a recording of Dred's last show, if you remember. It seems I must have accidentally knocked record when I'd finished.
Damn girl, crafty.
Oh, you little devil, Prof! Fantastic!
She's totally on his side now. She's not scared of him. She's totally on his side now. I knew we didn't have enough evidence to pin it on you. That's why I got you to come here. I thought it'd be fitting to have the final piece of evidence come from the killer himself. Oh, shattered again! Broke a shot through the heart twice! And you're too late to refute us, okay? To start with, there's the handwritten request sheet. However you look at it, that request was a blatant death threat and makes her intentions crystal clear. Next, there's the perfume bottle full of poison. That was the second time. Would you like to hear the third? No! You win!
You've given up at last!
So soon? How dull. I was hoping to lighten the screws on you much more than that. What a disappointment you are.
Prof, you're back!
Yes. Sorry about that, Lucy.
No, don't apologize. Well, I'm getting quite used to it now.
This is amazing. She's just brushing it off. She's like, it's this thing that happens like every time, you know. I'm getting used to it. You're not hurting me. You're being real scary and really weird, but like I guess no direct harm's coming to me. Oh no.
Lucy, you things roll off your back a little too easily, my girl, my friend.
And anyway, it weren't so bad this time. You snapped out of it without too much trouble. In fact, I'm a little worried it were a bit too easy.
Mr. de Bonair, there's one more thing I'd like to ask you.
What?
You haven't once called the tea lady by her name in all the time we've been talking.
What of it?
Do you not even know the name of the woman you murdered?
Course I do. It was Charlotte, wasn't it?
No, it flaming well, Warren! You really are scum, aren't you?
The lady's name was Anais Brewer.
The lady who smashed the bottle you put in her hand, ensuring you take the rap for your crimes.
I'll remember this, Layton. Lucy?
Yes, Prof.
Take Mr. de Bonair to a holding cell, would you?
Mike de Bonair! I'm arresting you for multiple counts of murder!
I'm de Bonair, not de Bonair! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Wowie wow. Okay. I enjoyed that one. All right. I think here. Let's do the wrap up. It shouldn't take too long. It always times it perfectly that the whole conclusion takes the entire episode and then I have to do the wrap up next. But let's just do it real quick. I already forgot what voice I gave you. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Inspector. Debonair squeaked like a mouse on helium. The bunny spewed his guts out till he was empty inside.
Hey, enough of that! You're making me feel queasy. Ugh.
Don't you want to know what the punk's motive was?
Do I ever?
Debonair's been doing the Chinese squeeze on the radio station's accounts, creaming off profits. I don't appreciate that name.
Huh?
Yep. When Dredd found out about it, he started ringing Debonair for cash like a wet towel. Huh, okay.
So Debonair bumped him off.
And what was the relationship between Brewer and de Bonair?
I've covered every angle on that, but I've got nothing. Zilch. A gink and that dame didn't have a scrap of shared history. They were totally unrelated.
What about Brewer and Dredd? The more I looked into that, the less of a connection they seemed to have. In fact, I'd put money on de Bonair just laying on the rumors that they were a couple.
Huh. Okay, so all these greasy guys all around.
Hello, life! Oh, goon! Ew!
Coon, you're not in the mob, Lucy. Do you have to talk like that?
Oh, I would just...
I'm not feeling very well. I think I'll head off home now.
Oh, well, I've got some news that might cheer you up a bit before you go, Prof.
Ooh, spill the beans then, Lucy. Put it wise.
Dolly's bringing out a new single soon.
Oh, but she's supposed to be known to not actually be a good singer. Auto-tune exists. Dolly, are you talking about the young lady Sniffer brought in by mistake?
Hey, every copper pinches their own greaser from time to time.
Aye, Dolly Holiday. The new track's causing quite a stir already and it hasn't been released yet.
Oh, why's that?
She's called it, I'll be the death of you.
Oh my god. After that guy died, I mean, that seems kind of in poor-ish taste. Cause yeah, the DJ was really greasy in a couple different ways, but I don't know. Anyways, whatever, I guess. Holy smoke, isn't it?
The infamous request? Why, the last got herself on the cover of every magazine cause of it.
She's a smart one.
Well, it's a B-side that's got me worried. The one that's called Macho Man in a White Gown.
Is this like the next case or something?
It's a bit of a strange... Why did I say that weird? It's a bit of a strange title, I grant you. But what's worrying about it?
Wait, you don't see?
Don't see what?
Oh, nothing. Never mind then.
Huh? Man in a white gown? Randall? Ghost? Wait, what? Huh? I have to think that over. I don't know what they're talking about. Let's see. Oh, there's still more. Oh my god.
You here, Sniffer?
Oh, you just missed him, Justin. He went home a few minutes ago.
He's got cheek, that lad, leaving this office before his boss.
Don't blow your top, Justin.
Oh, you're here too, are you, Al?
Of course I am. This is my office, after all.
You're home, more like. So how's it been going? Had any, incidents recently?
You mean a Jekyll and Hyde moment with the prof's dark side?
Ooh, so that's how you want to describe it. Oh, he's back! Wait, what? Oh,
Doesn't he only show up when there's criminals? Okay. I'm gonna leave this part for the next episode. I thought we were gonna wrap up this case nice and cozy at the end of this one and then move on to the next one. But it seems like some interesting is going on, so we'll save this little juicy tidbit for next time. Wait. Yeah, I have to think that white gown part over. I'll probably understand it by the time this episode goes out. But at this current point in time, I'm a bit confused. Anyways, join me next time for creepy Jekyll and Hyde moments. This is Axis, over and out.